Inkproducts.com has now released its newest economy ink tank system. Now these are called rocket bottles. They're going to go right next to the printer. They're very easy to fill. It's a very economical system. It's better than refilling cartridges. Now I've had this system already in, but I'm going to, in the video here, show you how to put it in. Now normally you would bring it over, take out your cartridges. You don't have to unplug the printer. If it's a brand new printer, you don't even have to put in the Epson cartridges. So you can hold on to and save them. In the kit, you get all the parts and pieces, a safety catch that goes on the back of the rocket bottle so it can't be knocked over. It's very simple to refill those bottles. It also has a new style isobaric chamber. In the kit, you're going to get all the syringes. You're going to get an extra syringe with a tip, and there's a little plastic tip inside. Now what that does is if you ran it out of ink or you're having problems with your printer, you could manually go in and add some ink to the print head. We find that really works well, especially when you don't have extra set of Epson cartridges and you don't want to spend another $60. This printer was a $44 printer. There's 3 models, the XP420, XP320, and the XP424. So it's an awesome little printer, does a lot of stuff. And now with our new COC Smart Chip, we can do unlimited resets. And it's better than any refillable cartridges. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install it. When you get it, the first thing you're going to do is put on your, let me bring it over here. You're going to put on the safety catch. And here's what it looks like. 2 pieces of the catch, and it joins together, and then it just slides back on. So you can slide it off to fill it, or you slide it on to lock it on. Now when you first get the system, after you take it out of the box, you want to lay it down flat, just like this. That's clearing any of the ink that got up into the isobaric chamber. Once you do that, then you can stand it up. But that's the very first thing to do when you take it out of the box. Now I had the hose bracket on, but I'm going to do it one more time for this video. I'm going to show you how to put that on. And then you have another hose bracket right here. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to peel and stick it. But it's going to go underneath. It's going to go under here like this. You slide it as far as you can. You'll hit, it'll stop right like that. That's how you do it. So I have a lot of videos, and it's in the instructions you're going to get. There's like a little lip here, and it's going to slide underneath that lip all the way in like that. Okay, now I'm going to peel off the backing, and then I'll stick on that hose bracket. It's going to go right here. Carefully, so I don't stick it too soon. Once I feel it stop, and then it's all the way to the top, just like that, then I can pull it up. That's it. Now the reason why I stick it here so you can close the top and it doesn't interfere with the hose. Then you're going to get the little hose clips that'll hold the hose on. Now I'll take this, I'll set it down in there. Just take your time because it's a little tight right here. You got to be careful when you're pushing that you don't damage that. Okay, there you go. I got it in. Now it's down in there. Now I push on these little round circles here. I lock it in. You want to hear it click. If it doesn't click, now this is the tough part right here. Because if you're pushing, you don't want to break anything. So just take your time. Push on the top of the little tab. Here, lock in. See them? Carefully. Don't push too hard. Now that's locked in. Now before I hook up the hose and install it, I'm going to see if it'll recognize those cartridges. So I'm going to hold the hose. Then I'm going to give you a little piece of protective tape to go here. So if it rubs against the hose, it won't hurt anything. Okay, now I've got the screen up. Press the ink cartridges until they click into place. I just did that. Okay, now I snapped them in and I push on the top here. See if I can get a little bit better camera shot here. And you'll hear it click in. If it doesn't click in, let me unclick it. It clicks like that, see? But now when you get over to this end here where it's really tight, right there, you might have to push a little bit on the top to click it in. Now I'm going to hold that hose. I'm not going to lock down the hose yet. I'm not going to lock down the hose yet. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to press the start. And I'm going to hold this. This way it's going to go back and forth. Okay, now it says you have not installed genuine Epson cartridge. That is correct. Say OK to proceed. And it's asking me if I should continue using the ink. I arrow up. I say OK. That's cartridge replacement. I'm going to hit here to return to home. Okay, now the cartridge is all the way over. Now I can install the hose because it's already over there. So the very first clip is going to go right on top. Make sure the hose is straight, and I'm going to put it and click it right to the top. Okay, now I clicked those both in. I'm going to bring it out. I've already had my other hose bracket on the outside. I stuck right there. I want it on a slight angle because there's a little pin in the top cover, and if it comes down, it'll lay on the hose. So that's why I'm pulling the hose over at a little bit of an angle, like that. Then I'll be able to put it in there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is open up the little small plugs on the top to allow air to go into the rocket bottles. Like I said, I've had this in the printer for quite some time. You can see I've used a lot of ink. But now you can print economically. You don't have to worry about buying cartridges. You have your safety catch on. You have the exclusive double loop hose bracket, which helps control print head pressure and flow of the ink. Now if you want, you can straighten out your hose. Now see, it's charging the ink. So before it even ran that test, it's going to charge up because it knows it's a new set of cartridges in there. And here's that little piece of felt that I'm going to put right there. I mean, the hose touching here is really not going to hurt anything, but I just thought, well, I'll put it on there anyway as an added precaution. Now I installed and put that piece of protective tape right there. It may not be needed, but you know, I always like to do things like that to make sure there's no problems, because as it goes back and forth, I don't want any wear marks. But now it's all set up. I ran one print head cleaning. I ran a nozzle check. It's coming out good. I just want to point out, sometimes if you see a little break like that, that's air. That's not clogged, that's air. A lot of people think, oh, it clogged, it clogged. Epsons don't clog unless you're using real poor quality ink. That is air because we took cartridges out, we put them in, we take them in and out. That causes air to go in there. Now normally you can go and clean it one more time. So just for this video, I'm going to go to head clean and do it one more time. Normally, I recommend you don't do that. Just set it on best printing, leave it like that, and it fixes itself. but for the video I'm going to do it. And then for this video I'm going to show what happens when you get an error. Okay, when you're first installing it, you may get cannot recognize the following cartridges. That means that they're not locked in or clipped in. So I wanted to show this in a video because that can happen. Press the OK and it's going to come over. Then we're going to take the cartridges up and reseat them. Okay, let's take them all up. I pull them up and I push them back down. Now here's where you're going to need two hands. You're going to push here and carefully over here, because this is the area that's going to give you the most problems, right over the end here. So just take your time. You want to hear them all click in. When you push down, you should hear them click, click. After there, I got them all in now. I press and hold the button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That resets the serial code that's required. Okay, say OK, or start rather. Now it's going to go check them again. Now you don't want the hose too tight or too loose. It's called hose travel. So you go back and forth. Now it's charging the ink. So that tells me that now the cartridges are recognized. Now sometimes that may happen. You might have the system installed for a week, a month. Sometimes you got to take them up and reseat them back down again. That's when you get cannot recognize them all. When you get cannot recognize the yellow or the magenta cyan, you bring it over, you squeeze the button, let go, press start or OK, and then you'll be back running again. There's no need to take the cartridges out. That's why we added that little reset button. Okay, now I'm back to copy. I want to move it over. I'm going to do another nozzle check. I go to setup. And I'm going to go down to maintenance. Then I'm going to go to nozzle check. Press the start. Now I left the lid open so you can watch what's happening. So you can see how nice the hose is going back and forth. No problems. Now nozzle check came out. Looking real good. There again, if you see a little spot where it's missing, leave it alone. Just set it to run best and that'll clear up. If you go in there and clean over and over and over again, that's only going to get worse. That is air. A lot of times people see stuff like that and they go, oh, it's clogged, that's clogged. It's not. It's air. The only time you can clog the printhead is if you're using very poor quality ink. That's usually because we took them in and out, in and out. That creates the air. That's why once you put them in, leave them in. But sometimes you have to take them out. So when you do, be prepared that you might have to do a few cleanings. So now I can close the lid. And I'm all set. I got something in there to print. Okay, now I'm going to go over to copy. There it is, copy. Go OK. Now I'm going to go to settings. I always like to run on best plain paper. That's what I like. Let's go over, print settings. Okay, I can make it darker or lighter. Paper size, paper type. Now, just below that is quality. Now, see, they will not allow you to go to best from here. So, from your computer, you have to do that. Now, sometimes I will trick the printer. I'll say I'm doing glossy. Then I go down. Now it allows me to do best. OK. OK is done. Copy. Because the printer doesn't know what type of paper you have in there. But sometimes I find running it under best for a while it actually saves ink. Because you don't have to do as many cleanings. If you run in draft, you're definitely going to have a problem. Now there it goes back and forth. Now obviously it's going to run slower by doing that. I'll run one in standard mode in just a second. The reason why I like this is because now I'm filling that print head with ink and I'm pushing out as much of the air that gets trapped in there. And that happens even when you take Epson cartridges in and out. That's why they have that utility to help you clean. Let's stop it. I'm going to bring it out. And it looks really good. Okay, now I'm going to go back up. I'm going to go back up. And I'm going to change the paper to plain paper. Okay, now I went back to standard. Okay. Plain paper. Okay. And print. Now it's going to come out a lot faster. There you go. So that really comes out. And because we're using a Ultra Pro True Color dye-based ink, it prints on glossy stock. Just awesome, awesome photos. There you go. Now you see that little white line? That was that little piece I was missing on that nozzle check. Now you noticed you didn't get it on the best settings. When you went to standard settings, you're going to get it. So I might go in and do one more cleaning. But it's not that critical. It really isn't. You can waste more ink trying to fix it, and that error will eventually go out. Now sometimes that can happen if you let the printer sit too long. So in this video I wanted to show you all this because you need to know there are things you have to do. It's not magic. And you can get that with a regular Epson cartridge, or you can get it with a aftermarket refillable cartridge. You can get it with anything, because that's the way these printers act when they get air in them. And that's why Epson puts that utility in the printer. Otherwise it wouldn't be there. Now sometimes if I do that 3 times and it's still not fixed, I usually leave it alone. But if I filled a syringe with a little bit of ink, about that much, and I took out those cartridges and I went over that spike, got it over there real tight, I could manually squirt some ink into the print head, and that would force out the air. I mean, that's your last resort, but that's why we include stuff like this. It's a simpler way to do it. Or if you didn't have the Epson cartridge, sometimes you'll put Epson's cartridges back in, and that'll help prime it back up again. Okay, there is 1. I'll do 2. You can do up to 3 and then give it a break. Okay, and I just finished the second cleaning. And now, that was the one I had the little mark on. A little bit of air. Now I just did the second one and it's gone. Okay, now I'll close it up. And we'll go back to printing. Say okay. Gonna go over to copy again. Okay. Now we'll let it print out. So there. I wanted to show this so you understand if you come across a little problem like that, how to fix it. It's not the system. It's actually the printer. This actually causes this. Now this is printing in standard. I still recommend running it at high every now and then to keep as much ink into the printhead. There it is, perfect. The lines are gone. So, we went from this to this. So we just don't sell an ink system. We also teach you what problems to look out for and how to fix them. Now we make this here in the USA. We buy parts and pieces from all over the world and we build them. We've been building them for over 20 years. So go to inkproducts.com. We own every printer. We test every one of our products.